Hello, everybody. Hope you can hear me. I think my mic is working. Is it? Yes, no. Let me put it down. Okay, I think it works. Let me know if you can't hear me. I'm Janet Kadow, and we're doing our uh, Spirit Saturday with Spirit live stream. And I wanted to say, hey, Marge, just going to be waiting for a few people. But in the meantime, I wanted to talk about the topic today. So today we're talking about um, allowing spirit to take over. So I don't have any agenda. I'm just going to wait to see what comes, who shows up, what questions you have, but also whatever guidance that I receive from spirit and see how, it evolves, see how things go. So I want to welcome everybody, and I'm going to put in the chat some information. We have a class coming up on Monday, and it's basically not really a class. It's more like um, I'm going to be doing healings and readings to support you for the week. So you'll get a energetic spiritual healing um, from your spirit guides, guided by me, and to help you get through your week. And then also, you will be getting a tarot reading and a message from your guides. So it's going to be a pretty fun hour, and there'll be a little bit of lecture and information, just depends on how many people come. So, on how it goes forward. Anyway, most people really love my not really my healings, but really love the healings that I do with spirit. So, and they love getting readings every week. So I kind of put the two together and thought I would try it. Anyway, so this week or today, we're talking about, allowing spirit to guide the way. And there's a couple things I want to bring up while we're collecting more viewers. And that is that spirit, I mentioned before last week that spirit doesn't like to take over, they like to empower you. They want you to be empowered. So they will never tell you what to do. They'll never take away your choices. They will always support you and help you make decisions and give you advice and stuff like that. They don't do a lot of predictions, although they obviously know which way the wind is blowing. Let's call it that. So, but when we ask spirit to kind of take the lead, we are really allowing them kind of carte blanche over our lives. We are allowing them to guide us into our highest potential, our highest good. So they're going to help us get to where we want to go energetically, spiritually, your soul wants to go, your higher self wants to go, your, sort of like what you were born to do will start to emerge as you allow them to take the lead. But that's a lot more difficult than it sounds because our ego likes to be the boss. And so it takes a lot of discipline and practice and trust and faith to really allow spirit to take the lead, to really allow them to take over. And when we, so, I know that what was easiest for me to do at the beginning was to ask my guides just to do it for a day or just to do it for an afternoon or an hour. You know, I ask you to take the lead in how this goes. And then I follow the nudges. I follow the prompts. And the prompts and the nudges are not really like them saying anything. You're just feeling like, oh, I should do this now, or I should call this person now, I should do this one thing now. And that will really help. Hi, Ashika. How are you? Thank you for being here. So, when we allow them to take the lead, we are simply following the prompts of what's going to happen. Now, you can also do that. Good to hear. Good to hear. I'm doing well. Thank you. So, when we're asking them to take the lead, we're following the prompts, and we can also though ask them to take lead on a certain problem that we have. We don't have to ask them to take over our whole life kind of thing. We can ask them to help us, um, handle our boss, help us handle our financial troubles, or handle, anything, that we're having difficulty with. And then what you do in that case is you have to let it go completely and not think about it or worry about it, and then wait to see what action you need to take. Yes, you can, Ashika. Yes. In a minute. Um, I mean, you can go ahead and write it. It's fine. I'll get to it in a minute. So, Spirit, we can ask Spirit what action we need to take and follow that through. Anyway, so it's a very when we start asking Spirit to take over, we are really allowing them to reshape our lives and help us in ways that can create miracles. If you don't um, if you don't allow Spirit to take over, then you um, don't trust them. I mean, and that's okay. You have to build trust just like in any relationship as you work with your guides. And we talked a little bit last week about building trust and asking them for help a lot, a lot, a lot. And that'll build trust with your guide. And as you build on that trust and you start asking them for more things like to handle a particular problem and you let it go, then you're acting on faith. And that's a secret ingredient to having miracles in your life. So, if you act on faith, you get miracles. That's the formula. But faith takes a lot of work. If you're worried about something and you ask Spirit to take care of it, but you're still worrying about it, that's not letting it go. You're still trying to control it, or you're still fussing over it, or you're still, taking it back from Spirit. So you don't want to do that. When you ask them to do something, you let it go and just ask them to tell you when you need to act. And that's when synchronicities happen. That's when things really start falling into place in your life. The other kind of fear that people have when allowing Spirit to take over is that Spirit's going to make you go to like a convent or something, um, or be sort of devoted to your life to God or whatever, and they're only interested in your happiness. So they're going to do everything they can to assist you to get to your happiness, to get to joy in your life, to really experience the blessing of living on earth. That's their whole agenda, is to make you happy. So they're never going to steer you in a way that's going to cause you harm or difficulty. They're never going to, give you. I hear a lot about, spirits testing me or God's testing me. That's not what they do. Spirit guides are always supportive of you and they're not testing you. They don't need to. They already know what you're going to do. They don't need to test you. You're an open book to them. But you can always ask them for help with things. You can always ask them to help you trust them, to help you have faith, to help you understand, what they're trying to tell you and how they're trying to help you. Okay. So before we answer questions, which we will in just a moment, I don't want to do a whole lecture thing. I'm doing a class on Monday. I'm going to put the information in the chat. And Also, you're welcome to, oops, it's not, hold on. The link isn't working. Okay. Um, nope. All right. Okay, you can just go to my website, www.janetkadow.com, and look up Weekly Spirit Circle, and that's our upcoming class. Okay, so I just want to kind of tune into my guides and see what he would like to share with you all, and let him take the lead. He hasn't given me any information so far, so I'm just curious of what he'd like to share with you. This is, I'm just going to repeat what he's saying and uh, interpret it as you will. There's a great shift coming, a great blessing coming for all here. In the coming months, new light is coming into the earth realm, a new powerful energy. You can resist this energy or you can embrace it. If you embrace this energy, it will make your life flow in a way that raises your frequency, your vibration, in a way that attunes you more to your highest purpose. It is a new state of being coming into the human realm. Take note of it in your personal life and be aware of how you're feeling differently than you were before. Suddenly things won't bother you as much, or suddenly things won't concern you as much. Things won't weigh you down. And life will be much easier if you embrace it. If you question it and go back to old habits of worry and fear and anxiety, I'm not talking about medical condition anxiety, I'm talking about um, more common anxiety. Step away from those things and know that you are being blessed by the light. The window he's showing me is like from mid-October to mid-January is when this big energy shift is coming. So if that resonates, that's great. I didn't know about that. He never mentioned that, and it's funny that he even brings something like that up. That's not his normal message. Okay. Ashika, what so do you work with, I see you working with people. I can't tell if it's like you're a teacher or if you're working at a store or something like that. Can you tell me, just give me a little hint? I want to make sure I'm on the right track. If that's your profession or your something like that. And now we can ask questions. So if anybody has a question, you can go ahead and put it in the chat. We'll see what comes up. Corporate job. Interesting. All right. Well, I'm seeing you teaching, training. I'm seeing a lot of people. I'm seeing you leading. So there's like a management job or a job in which you're training people. you're holding a notebook or a book and you're talking a lot and you have a lot of notes, and they're showing me that this is a really good job for you. It's a lot of autonomy, but also a lot of responsibility. And you're really good at it. You have a great so I was gonna say it looks like you have the education or background to really do a fabulous job with this. I'm not getting any location or anything like that, but I am getting that it is coming a little bit more towards. I see you in the job more around early December. So the suggestion from the guides is just keep looking and trust and shoot a little higher than you normally would shoot. I hope that's helpful. Thanks. Good. Okay, Stephanie, what do your guides want you to know right now? You're welcome, Shika. I think you're going to do amazing work. I can't tell just a second, Stephanie. I'm sorry. I just want to say I can't tell who you're training. If they're adults, teenagers, children, I can't tell. If they're peers or if they're, maybe higher ups or whatever you're teaching them. But it looks like a very good job. And the core part of the job is training. Okay. Okay, Stephanie. What do Stephanie's guides want her to know right now? You're going through also a transitional time too in your home. Yeah, I know. They're talking about your home though. We'll get to I'll ask them about that. So, but they are saying that I see you sitting on your couch and your kids are kind of coming and going, and there's a lot of change in your home. And I know that they're getting a little older and all that is normal, but it feels like there's a I don't know how you feel about them leaving or moving on or doing all the things that they do when you finish high school. But you have someone with you. I don't know how you feel about being alone. Couch children. Yes. Sorry, I just heard that funny. Um, I don't know how you feel about being alone, but what they're showing me is that you're not going to be alone. Like, even if they all left, you're not going to be alone. There's someone with you. They want you to know that. Okay. You have a lot of gifts to offer the world. And your job is always your gift, what you offer to the world. It's not your purpose. Your purpose is to live your life however you want to live it. But your job is your gift, what you give back to the world. Even though you make money or whatever, it's how you give back to the world. So when I ask you about a good job, when I ask them your guides about a good job, they're happy to inform you, this is the phrasing I'm getting, that you are the chosen candidate of an upcoming adventure and don't turn it down. That comes after, I think, Thanksgiving. There's something that you really want to do, but you're not sure if you should do it. And maybe you have to apply for it, or I don't know. There's something. And they're saying, go for it. And when you get it, don't turn it down. So it's something you're not sure about, but it looks really fun. So that's their message. It's going to be fun. You're going to go like, oh yeah, I'm going to apply for that. And then you won't think that you're really going to get it. And then you're going to be like, oh wow, I got it. I don't know if I should do that. So they're saying, don't turn it down. Okay. So again, I think that's more after Thanksgiving, though. Between Thanksgiving and New Year's, there's a lot going on for most people in that little window there. I don't know what's going on. I don't know. Interesting. Okay, Marge. How old is Oscar, Marge? I love that you are only concerned with animals and not yourself. Most of us have more personal concerns. Hi, Micah. How you doing? Go ahead and put your question in the chat. No worries. Thank you for being here. Okay, so trying to get a read on Oscar. This is hard. So the guides aren't answering that question. So I'm gonna rephrase. So the guides don't, you know, they're very careful with their words. So they don't want and they're certainly careful with medical stuff. So what I'm asking them is what you can do on behalf of um, Oscar and Marvin. Oscar is very happy. They're showing me a very, very happy dog. Oscar just wants to hang out with you. And that's enough. I don't think you need to do any more for Oscar other than just, be your beautiful self. Yeah, I think you might be right because the guides won't really say the state of his well-being. But he just wants to hang out with you. So be there for Oscar. Oscar's a very, very good dog. Very good dog. I feel a little misty right now. Marvin Marvin is having a it feels like I'm not sure. It feels like Marvin is not as social and not quite wanting company. Um, and I don't know if you've taken Marvin to the vet, but you probably should. I'm getting a little bit of a nudge in that direction. So if you haven't, oh yeah. So just keep up with that. I don't know if it'll improve. I kind of doubt it, but they're just saying, um, the doctor, the vet, I mean, will help a lot with Marvin. And Marvin could, be around for a while. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I lost my kitty to that too, just recently, to the kidney disease. So that was tough. But it feels like it's manageable. I don't know what stage 3 means, but it feels like Marvin still has a little life left in him. But leave him be when he wants to be left and left alone. But it feels like he's going to be around, but I don't think he'll be improving. My non medical, I don't have a veterinary license opinion. I'm not sure about that question. I don't really know. Sorry, Marge. I think that's between you and him. What I would do though, Marge, is ask him to let you know when he's ready, just telepathically. Just imagine he's, in front of you and ask him to just let you know when he's ready and then handle it from there. He's a good guy. Okay. You're welcome, my love. And now for Nisa, who I don't know. Is Nisa in the chat? I don't know why. Anyway, um, what do Nisa's guides need her to know right now? I assume she's in the chat. I mean, or she's watching. Maybe not in the chat, but um, oh, she can't comment. Okay, that's no problem. I love her. I'm glad she's here. She is. So, Nisa, they're showing me you being held in a lot of light right now. Like the guides are really holding you in a very powerful energy. They're showing me an exercise for you to do. Um, for you to write a list. I want you to write all your problems down. Everything that you're dealing with. Like, you know, how you're juggling all these different aspects of your life. Whether it's your marriage, your family, your home, your job, they're suggesting that you write down all the things that are overwhelming you. Your boss, your mailman, whatever it is, okay? Write it all down. Just stream of consciousness, light a candle, get a tissue, and write it all down. When you're done with that, look at that list and ask, and then you're going to make 2 columns. And you're going to go through the list, and on one side, you're going to put Nace's problem. And then the other side, you're going to put so and so's problem, whoever's problem it is. Like, if, you know, um, someone's having a bad day and they come home and give you their bad day, is that your problem? Like that kind of stuff. You have to sort of really understand if that's your problem or if that's their problem. So I need you to write the list, or they would like you to write the list, of everything. And then when you're done and you're clear headed, put, 2 columns, my problem, their problem, my problem, their problem. That's the columns. And decide what you really need to take action on. Because there's a lot of people who have an incredible mother like you will over rely on mother handling all their problems, mother, wife, employee, and so on, but they're not really your problems. They're just, and you could go, that's not my problem, and not deal with it because it's not yours. So they want you to make a differentiation, that anytime you help someone with their problem, that it's a choice, but it's an option, but it's not a duty. And that's something that, you know, a lot of people struggle with, especially as the kids get older and they're on their own or they're adults. It's hard not to keep picking up the pieces for them, but it's okay to do it in the transitional periods and in crisis and so on. But it becomes a bit of a habit, and you really need to make sure that you aren't um, continuing with the habit well long after it's necessary. So I think that's a good idea for all of us, really. In any case, like when we're stressed out about our lives and, take a moment to reflect what is yours to deal with and what is somebody else giving to you to deal with. Okay. Any more questions? Anybody else here? Keep getting hair in my eye. I don't want to mess up my hair because it's giving. Okay. Well, you're welcome to send a tip if you're feeling generous. Oh, Anna's here. Oh, and Jean has a question. Yeah, I'll do Marge, put Jean's question in. And Anna's here. And I would love it if you guys are feeling a little bit joyfully generous. You can go ahead and leave me a little something on PayPal or Cash App. I'll put the info in the chat. So yes, Jean, I will totally answer Jean's question. And Anna is next, and then I'll do Jean if I get her question. Okay, so for Anna, is now the right time to make a career change, or is waiting for 2026 best? Okay, Marge. But staying with the. Okay, I'm going to reread that. Sorry. Is now the right time to make a career change, or is waiting for 2026 better for me? Would staying with present employer be best? So let me ask your guides, or ask my guide to ask your guide. You have 3 things that are going to occur in the next 6 weeks that are going to change your mind about what you want. And in those 3 things, it's going to be super clear on how to proceed. Like, it'll almost be so obvious you won't need to ask your guide. It'll be so obvious you'll know it in your heart of hearts what to do. In the meantime, they're asking that you. So those 3 things that are going to occur in the next 6 weeks. That's the hint. And so in those 6 weeks, whatever it is going to change a lot about what you're thinking or what you didn't know now, and change the direction you're going to go. But in the meantime, they want you to explore all options that are available to you. Go forward, take it to, like do all the interviews, do all the things, apply for all the jobs. In other words, so apply for all the jobs and take them until, keep going until you get an offer and have to make a decision. That's what they would like you to do. Look at it like that. So that you are in a space of power and you're making the decision. But you will know the right decision when the time comes if you follow that advice. So when they're telling you something and they give you advice, follow the advice so the advice will manifest in the way that they are saying it's going to manifest, by the way. Okay. So there's more than the guides are being so funny. I'm going to just give you the phrasing. There's more than one way to skin a fish. Keep all your options open and know that you are the prize. You need to be the queen making the decisions instead of begging for a job kind of feeling. Hope that helps. Queen Anna. Okay. Let's see. Who's next? Okay, Micah has a question, but I'm going to do Jean's question first. They want you to know that what you want is available to you. It may feel like what you want can't come, or there's some problem, barrier, impossibility. But you have a gift of receiving well what you want. But there's something you're not sure if you could receive it or should receive it, or there's some kind of mental block to receiving it. So what you want will come to you, but take off any limitations that you have about what you want. So whether it's, what you want with, um, let's say buying a new house. I think you just got one though. Anyway, I'm just going to say that. So what you want, if there's limitations on it, like it has to be here, it has to do this, and it has to have that, or, you think there's a timeline, some invisible timeline, or you think there's some invisible thing you have to do to get the thing, take all that off and just say, I receive, I'm grateful, I can have this. Plus, they're just showing me you super happy, smiling, enjoying your life. Stay in that energy as well. It looks good for you. I hope that helps. Beautiful Jean. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for watching. I'm glad Nace is here too. Thank you. And all of you. Thank you. Okay, Micah. What do I need to know about currently progressing forward in my life? I have an intuitive feeling and keep seeing progressing numbers daily. Wondering what additional insight. Well, the less you do, the more your life changes. The less you try to make something happen, the more it happens. You like to fuss over things. You get focused and and perfectionist. And they're saying that's fine for work, but in your life, you need to receive also. And you need to know that it's out of your control. You've already done all the work. It's like you have already laid all the train tracks to the next destination, and all you need to do is ride along. You don't need to force anything to happen. You don't need to, try to anticipate it. When you're in the train or on an airplane or even in the car, you're just passively waiting to get there. You can't, like, if you can't tap the conductor on the shoulder and say, "Can you go a little faster? I'm in a hurry," or whatever. You're just gonna get there when you get there. Same with the pilot. And you can only go so fast on the highway, or else, state trooper will come on you. So you want to just wait. You're going forward, and it is all happening. Yes, more is coming. Try to live in the moment. But don't think too much of the future. So we try to control the future because we're trying to either make something happen, we're trying to, make the future safe for ourselves. We have a lot of fear of the future unconsciously. And so that's where control issues come in. But when we're working with spirit, we have to let go of those control issues so we can receive from them. They can't help us if we're clinging to an outcome or trying to make something happen or constantly worrying about the future. They can't help us because we're blocking the energy they're trying to provide. So when we settle in and go, okay, the train tracks are laid, I'm just going to be, in this train car for however long it takes to get there. It's already in motion. So I am going to have lunch with my friends and so on. Okay, good. This is the most present and anxious and least anxious I've ever been. Excellent. Yeah, you're doing great. So just, keep chugging along. Get a pedicure. You don't need to do anything. Okay, any more? Marge, how's Jean doing? Did she say okay? Message received? Anyway. And Micah says, yes, I've been writing out gratitude for today and just being excited for what tomorrow will bring instead of predicting it. Pretty good. Very good. And if it's different than I planned, often days later, it's even better. That's right. Good work. So we're working with spirit. We really do have to be mindful of our trust issues and allowing them to help us. Wonderful. Thank you, Micah. Okay, Jean says thank you. Don't worry, be happy. That's right. That's right, Jean. Thank you. Thank you for your questions, everybody. Any more? I'm losing viewers. I see the number. I gotta quit looking at that. It's doing live streams is not my best gift. I'd much rather just write or do audio. So I get distracted looking at the number of viewers and all the little comments And then I need to tune into the guides. So yes, Marge. Um, Marge, 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 Marge. Marge, Marge. Let's look at what the guides have to say for you. There's something you're very worried about. I can feel it. So you don't have to tell me what it is. Obviously, this is a public forum. So I just sense this kind of feeling of kind of a low key worry. They're saying, don't worry. Just like Jean said, don't worry, be happy. But not quite that. What you're worried about is not a reality, nor will it be. What you're worried about is not going to happen. You're creating a life that that um, will always support your happiness all the time. And but they just keep saying what you're worried about will not happen. I That's such a fabulous question, Marge. How do I learn to speak my truth? I think this is a great one for everybody. Good. Um, they're showing me writing down just kind of what's on your mind, especially when you're a little frustrated that you're not being heard. In the evening or whenever you have a little time to yourself, grab a little notepad and just write down what you're feeling about what you're feeling and what you're thinking about and how it's affecting you. Starting to acknowledge what's being unheard, what's being set aside, is your first step forward in communicating your truth. So if you can, when you do that exercise, there's going to be more coming up for you. Good. Good. What do you need me for, Marge? You don't need me. But I'm glad you're here. Good. Yeah, you really should just, sit with your thoughts and your feelings. Sit with your thoughts and feelings, write them down. Because there's a lot that it's hard for you to say. If you say them at least when you're writing them down and you look at them and reread them, it'll be easier to communicate them to other people. I don't see other people being hard on you for speaking your truth, but I think you're more hard on yourself in a way. You have a lot of people who totally accept you and love you just as you are. And it's just going to take some practice. And writing it down is the first step to practicing your truth and getting to know it. Good work. Wow. Well, everybody, you're fabulous and wonderful. And I thank you for being here. And like I said before, if you want to leave a generous tip for your favorite channel and psychic teacher, or you want to join our Monday class, go to my website. To join the Monday class, you can go to my website, janetkadow.com, and click on the link for weekly spirit circle. And we're going to be doing healings and readings there, or I will be doing them. You'll be receiving. It's a great way to receive. And if you want to leave a tip, I just put that information in the chat. So I thank you, everyone. If there's no more questions, then we're going to meet again next week and see what happens. Anything you want to say before we go? I think that I'm going to ask the guides what they want to say before we go. Sorry, I have a little bit of itchy nose. White Eagle is showing me such interesting things. Thank you, Marge. I'm seeing like waves on the ocean. They're not harsh waves, but rolling waves, kind of a gentle up and down motion that makes you feel a little seasick, a little disoriented, but not dangerous. Keep that in mind. This week may make you feel a little seasick and disoriented, but it's not dangerous and it will pass. All right. I see that on a personal level, not on a global level. I just want to add that. So pay attention to how you're feeling and make sure you remember it's not permanent. It's just a little bit like a roller coaster ride. That's all. All right. You're very welcome. Take care, everybody. And I so appreciate your being here. And we'll meet again next week, I hope. Take care.